da do da. Hope I get away with it. Oh, da do da day.
This town needs an enema.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Stupid O'Clock.
Hello, Joe. What you know?
Oh, not much. Hey, Rob. Hi, Donna.
Howdy, folks. Welcome
and
to another night.
I will be ducking out about 10 or 11:29 to cover a Starlink launch, and then I'll be right back.
Can we broadcast it here?
Well,
Like if I were to share it and put it on one of the little screens and watch what you're doing, and
yeah, I guess you could.
I mean, there's no. I mean, you know, we'll get
Hey.
sued. Or, won't go to Facebook gulag.
As long as Joe's broadcast of it doesn't show any objectionable material, then yeah, you can get away.
Oh, you mean like the national anthem?
Or the NASA
Which-
logo,
Which I miss. You know,
Yeah.
it's
And
like
Rob,
I want to go.
yeah.
Oh, say can you see?
Yeah. Rob, that is not NASA footage. That is footage of the new SpaceX rocket.
And
Having
it wasn't
little
even
boobies.
SpaceX footage, was it? That was space. NASA. No, who did that one?
That was courtesy of NASA spaceflight.
Which is a fan organization. It's
Yeah.
no relation to the actual people that work in Florida.
Yeah.
So,
There are people that work in Florida.
of course.
I was
Well, that's
hoping.
Texas. That's Texas, so there was a lot of Mexicans working on it.
Good.
See, sigh.
Do you know why they have so much trouble counting votes in Florida? Because anybody that can count either works for NASA or Disney.
Yeah.
Oh, so instead of saying, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 votes. If they work for NASA, that means, let's see, there's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we only have one vote.
Oh.
I was hoping we'd see the launch tonight, Joe Dog. I mean, I bought Major Matt Mason on his space sled, and I even brought Melted Matt Mason along as well.
Well, John can pull up. John, I'm going to post this over into the private chat. And, it won't be me.
Oh, I get
commentating.
the copyright strike. I see how it goes.
That's the link. That way you can have that pulled up.
Oh, well, I was just going to bring up the other StreamYard. When you go over to do the Armchair Rocket Science StreamYard, I was going to import it over here as one of the windows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just share what you're doing over there.
All right.
Put it in StreamYard's backyard.
Yeah, the yell is something that I added in there, Rob. It was just one of those goofing arounds.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull up another one that'll make Rob snicker as soon as I can find it. There it is. Yeah, Rob, we modified the edit of a classic scene from Young Frankenstein.
3.
I am Frau Blucher.
Now, see, I thought you'd have pulled Honey Badger or well, the horse without the Frau Blucher thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the Frau Blucher just adds to it.
Mm-hmm.
Marty Feldman plays the horse so well too, I gotta say.
What?
But yeah, I'm trying to figure some stuff out.
I've been trying to figure out stuff for decades. Still don't work.
Mm.
Dan, if you would send me that song again, the opening song. Let me see if I can overlay. If I can mute that one and overlay it again.
Overlay it. I'll do my best. I don't even remember. That was 2 years ago. I may not even have that version of the audio surviving. I'll do my best.
The only thing I've got like that saved is when we first started doing the show and you wanted to host it and you sent me all that stuff. I've still got the original opening in a file.
Okay, well, send it to me.
With flags and everything.
All right.
Overlay, can you see? Oh.
By the dot early light. Okay.
If Dan has that music.
Hey. I'm sorry. I mean, I go through computers like Spinal Tap goes through drummers.
Maybe we should get a new theme song. We've been using the same one for 2 years now. Just a thought.
Yeah, Dan's looking like, oh God, please no.
I'm trying to finish another
wait a
book.
Minute. Okay, let me watch Dan's face when I say this. Would it be easier to try and find the old one or write a new one?
Yes.
You're just gonna make his head explode. That's all it is.
No, it's about the same amount of effort involved in either pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
Writing a new one's fun.
Yeah.
You could be a new version of the old one. Yeah, it's like they had the original theme song for Third Rock from the Sun, and then like a couple seasons in, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy did his spin on it. But then they went back to the original one again.
And you need to have something on the video, Joe.
Yeah.
Like down in the corner, little watermark type thing that says music with permission by Dan Hollyfield. Something like that. So the next time you get a copyright strike,
it's right
they
there.
Don't care.
It's right there on the corner of the damn intro.
Hey,
Facebook robot jackasses.
You could do.
They had to change their name to Meta to avoid all the damn lawsuits.
Yeah, Phil, you need to raise your camera a little bit. We don't see eyebrows.
Yeah, this is what we're seeing. Hey, Bill.
Okay, now we're looking
to stop.
Now we're seeing somebody else's eyebrows.
Up a little more. Up a little more.
Well, part of it is
Get
just
your whole
stupid.
hat.
Huh?
Get your whole hat.
My whole hat.
No. We should be able to see the little button on top of your hat.
I keep pushing it. It's not doing nothing. Of course, you got to have something in the hat, though.
Before we started the show, we were talking about the old network TV horror movie shows that they would have
yes.
on. Of course, it's getting close to Halloween, and of course, Joe doing HallowCon's, so we're discussing all sorts of fun stuff. And the local one, Bill's talking about the Svengoolie show that was out of Chicago. What was that name? What was that call sign again?
Well, the original Svengoolie, his name was Jerry G. Bishop. And
the station.
The what? Oh,
The station.
WFLD Chicago.
WFLD Chicago.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we found out, I was reading about it a little while ago, it was one of the old independent networks, or independent stations, not part of a network. Wasn't CBS, wasn't ABC, or nobody else. And eventually they sold out back in '86 to a Fox.
Like
they sold out to
WGN out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually, I was reading, it had a network of 5 independent stations. So they were all working together to do the same thing. So it was literally broadcasting some of their shows through 5 different stations, which was cool. Now, locally, we had Shock Theater.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on the local TV 9.
Channel 9.
Channel 9. And I, for some reason, I keep thinking it's CBS, and I can't remember why. But we used to have Shock Theater. And you had, as you can see from my little picture right here, you had Dr. Shock, you had Dingbat, and Nurse Goodbody. Okay. And they all kind of retired. But there's a local guy who's really big into that sort of stuff named Teddy Wittenberger. We went to high school with him up in Roma.
And Jack Gray is the Dr. Spock. Or Dr. Shock.
Doctor Who? But anyway, Shock Theater was actually a national franchise. We just happened to have Chattanooga had its own version of it. Because when I was living in Biloxi, Mississippi, they had a Shock Theater as well, but it was completely different.
Yeah, like ours. Ours came out of Greenville, Spartanburg, but it didn't have a host. It was just
the one in Biloxi did, but it was more of a Dr. Frankenstein kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He had
kind of like Romper Room or Bozo Circus. They were all over the United States, but of course, as far as Bozo Circus goes,
right? Like the Soul Train Club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Channel 9 out of Chicago was the most popular for Bozo.
Yeah, it
ran the longest.
We had the Romper Room. Yeah, we had the Romper Room here in Chattanooga.
Mm-hmm.
But something about broadcast rights and the name and all that, so they just changed it to Fun Time. And Miss Marcia.
Now wait, Romper Room was different though. It was a different host and everything.
The original Romper Room on Channel 9 was Miss Marcia's Romper Room. Somehow something came up that it became syndicated, and WDEF bought it.
I can't remember who did Romper Room, but it wasn't Miss Marcia, because I was one of those cute little kids that they always wanted to put on those shows. So I had all sorts of neat little field trips from school. And I was on both of them. I was on Romper Room, but I can't remember the lady's name. And I was on the Miss Marcia show, which Fun Time with Miss Marcia, I think is what it was called, if I remember correctly.
And then Bob Brandy.
Times in my life that I was born ugly.
Bob Brandy and was it Bob Brandy and Friends? I think was the name of it.
And Miss Ingrid.
And then
I cannot remember the woman from our local Romper Room. Maybe Carl or Donna or Sarah might remember her name. But there was one that was predominantly popular throughout the mid-late 70s that I remember, but I can't.
Rob is saying he remembers Romper Room with Miss Marcia. Now, are we talking about Marcia Kling? I want to make sure everybody's on the same sheet of music, because that was back in the 60s and 70s, so everything was Marcia. And yes, I threw in a Brady Bunch reference.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were just stuttering.
I didn't know, but Miss Marcia has passed on.
Yeah.
Oh, well, my condolences.
They were real quiet about it. I thought that was kind of odd. It's kind of
We
funny,
also
though.
had Cowboy Bob's Corral that came out of WTTV out of Indianapolis, Channel 4. And I'm thinking that was also an independent station like WGN and WFLD. And then we had Cowboy Bob's Corral with tumbleweeds and trying to think of the name of the horse. I can't think of his horse.
It's probably Trigger.
And he's the one who always ended the show saying, if you have nothing good to say nothing at all. And then you'd see him riding off on the horse while they were playing the Cowboy Bob's Corral theme song.
We had something, it wasn't a horror thing, it was like weekday cartoons. Most of the time it was before school hours, before the bus had time to get there. But it was out of Greenville, Spartanburg again. And I cannot for the life of me remember the two gentlemen, but they played a lot of Three Stooges shorts. They played Keystone Cops. They played Funny Man, if you can remember that one. It was sort of the same humor vein. And then it's time for the bus. Left for school. In the afternoons, there was something from Atlanta. It was Popeye Club with Officer Bob, where they'd play the black and white Fleischer Popeye cartoons up until protests mounted about the violence, and they went to the full color Popeye cartoons had been neutered.
It blows me down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Janie's Treetop, and then it was Popeye and Janie after that. But now you mentioned, Dan, about the show that did the Three Stooges shorts and Keystone Cops and that. I'm guessing they probably did Little Rascals / Our Gang as well.
That was after school. That was a different program.
Because we had one like that, mainly after school. And then on Sundays on WGN TV, we had Family Classics with Fraser Thomas, who was the second band leader and host of Bozo's Circus. And basically it was kind of like the Roosevelt fireside chats. He would go and pull a book, great big hardback, leather-bound book off the shelf and you saw on the spine the title of the book, which would be the movie they would be showing. It might be like Swiss Family Robinson or Treasure Island or The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn or Tom Sawyer or something. And he'd sit in a chair and you'd see the fireplace with the roaring fire in the background. And he's got his smoking jacket on and his little ascot. And it was really, and they did that for years and years, and then somebody else took over after Fraser Thomas died and did that. And I'm wanting to say it was Roy Leonard, which he was a big time, he was your celebrity television movie pop culture host at the time for WGN. And I'm thinking he's the one that took over. And those were always Sundays on that one. You know, you get up and you saw Gumby and Pokey, and then what was the other? Yep. Davy and Goliath.
Davy and Goliath. Yep.
Because the religious overtones in that.
Jot.
Yeah. Jot, the neighborhood dot.
Yep.
And the other one was something. I think it was
picture pages. Let's saw.
Yeah. Well, that was
Captain
Kangaroo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Bill Cosby had a tie in on that one. Oh, another one was Simon and the Land of Chalk Drawings, and that was a black and white cartoon, and he would draw with the chalk and then kind of jump through it into the magical land of chalk drawings.
Sort of like Captain Kangaroo's little Tom Terrific segment.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's line drawings on Channel 1 on Captain Kangaroo's really weird black and white TV.
Yeah, Dan Darden says we used to run home from the bus for Dark Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of my cousins, about 10, 12 years older than me, she came down to babysit us, my brother and sister and I, because my mom and dad were both working, and Dark Shadows was her kryptonite. I mean, basically, we came in. Dark Shadows was on. We all sat down. We were very quiet.
And if you have Pluto TV, there is a 24/7 Dark Shadows channel.
Yeah.
If you have my external hard drive over here, you've got Dark Shadows, and lots of other things that I have collected over the years. It's not complete. It only goes up to like 5,000 episodes. But
okay, so I know Sarah's a big Dark Shadows fan. We've talked about this before in the past, but I'll ask you guys, prior to the introduction of Barnabas Collins, how much of Dark Shadows did you really like? Barnabas Collins set the pace for the rest of the series. I mean, it took off like skyrockets.
I remember over when his character was introduced, but it was spooky enough before. I mean,
and honestly, I've never seen an episode. I've seen, a little bit of it, but
they're soap operas.
They're just before. It was just before my time.
Yep. It was a horror / supernatural soap opera.
Yeah, that was. I had a bunch of friends that were into it. I never really got into
it. When I was a kid, I had the Dark Shadows board game, a big old image of Barnabas Collins on it. I also had the Barnabas Collins plastic model kit. I can't remember if it was Aurora or AMT or who put it out. I bought that thing, and it was wonderful. It had the cane with the serpent's head and his little cloak on the outside, and they had Dark Shadows on everything back then. I mean, it was almost like the frickin' Beatles.
Lunch boxes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The the Waltmans or Whitman books, Big Little books, and
Sarah's right too. They used lots and lots of classic horror movie tropes in Dark Shadows. There was
like a vampire.
There was a werewolf. There was a hand. Just a hand that had been chopped off below the elbow. Exactly. But this one was very bad tempered. You had the usual mad scientists and ghosts and other things as well. I remember it fondly, although I don't remember it well.
Demonic possession.
Yeah, demonic possession. Different characters got taken over by the ghosts of their physically resembling ancestors from the past.
In particularly out of the two Dark Shadows movies, the one that had a very young Kate Jackson in it, there was a demonic possession, and it all tied into a certain framed painting on the wall of this one woman who I don't know if she was supposed to be a witch in her past life or what it was. I can almost remember her name, and I think if somebody came up with it, I would say, yes, that's her.
She was one of the family members, yes. Oh, yeah, time travel. They did. You're right, Sarah. They did. They did throw some of the present day characters back into the was it the 1600s? Not quite sure at this point in my life, but it was mm, colonial days anyway. Yeah.
Are you talking about Victoria Winters?
She
Bill?
was the
That
governess who greatly resembled one of the people in the painting. She greatly resembled Barnabas's girlfriend, who was a witch and put a curse on him, but she was still the great love of his life. And I think that's the way the story went. I'm not sure. There might have been a couple of other witches or extenuating
See,
circumstances
Victoria
or something
Winters
in
was
there.
the one in the witchcraft trial.
Yeah, she was the governess that came in for the little boy.
Angelique Brochards.
Angelique, yes, that was
She's the one who put the vampire
lady in
curse
the
on
yep.
Barnabas.
She was a lady in the painting that was not, well, a painting that was not quite on the side of the angels. Um, Josette, yes, Josette was Barnabas's love interest. So Angelique was competition with Josette and put a curse on Barnabas because he loved Josette instead of Angelique, and she
All
didn't
right.
like that.
SpaceX is going live in about 3 minutes, so I'm going to jump out, be over there, and I'll be back here probably around 11:50
Wednesday.
All
tonight.
right.
All right. See y'all. See y'all in a little bit.
Alrighty.
I'm trying to think. WGN out of Chicago
Yeah.
used to do spooky movies too, kind of like a shock theater sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
And
Oh yeah, we used to get when we had when Athens first got cable TV, we used to get WGN as part of the cable package. I mean, there were only 13 channels on the cable, but
my beard's going white in the weirdest places. Looks like I've been drinking milk or something.
stay out of those places.
This is another reason I'm probably going to shave, is because like down here my beard looks okay, but everywhere else it's so lightly colored. Yeah, well,
I tell you what, John, if you would just bite the bullet and grow it out and then shave it off and grow it out again over the course of about 2 years, give it 2 or 3 months.
that's too much shaving.
I know.
If I'm going to do that much shaving, I'm just going to go ahead and shave. So.
Well, I mean,
Hey, short hair is a good thing.
is it?
Very. I can
I'm
I can get out of the shower, dry my hair literally 5 swipes of a towel.
I'm beginning to get to the stage where I'm going, hair would be a good thing.
Hey, if it keeps going down your back, you won't have to worry about cold toilet seats.
Yes, I've watched Gallagher before myself.
Oh, funny thing you should mention that, because he came up on my Facebook feed today and somebody was complaining about he used to be funny before he started doing politics.
the song that they played on Creature Feature on WGN Channel 9 was called
Yeah.
Experiment in Terror, done by Henry Mancini. And at the beginning, and I'll have to post this in the Stupid O'Clock group, the theme song. The beginning of each for the thing for the movie, when they would play this song, which of course it was spooky enough as it is, but you would see a collection of all the little snippets of all the different Universal monster movies at it. And then they would go in to tell you what movie they were going to play that night.
As if it weren't included in the title. Creature Feature is now on YouTube. You can see the complete things.
Our local Shock Theater used to start off with Black Sabbath.
Ooh.
So you'd hear that. And it'd be like 11 o'clock Saturday night. All of a sudden you'd hear bong, bong, bong. And all the kids come running.
Oh, really? Yeah. I would have loved that.
They had one in Illinois in the 70s, and I can't remember if it was Chiller Theater or whatever, but they started off by playing Elton John's Funeral for a Friend, and which is the perfect creepy song, and that was their whole theme song. I'm going to mute this a second while I search for that.
Strange enough, we're talking ultimate creepy songs is, of course, Bach's D minor Toccata et Fugue.
Toccata and Fugue, yes.
But you got to have a huge pipe organ to play the damn thing, or a really
just 15-inch space speakers and 12-inch woofers.
Strangely enough, I posted that on Facebook right before the show. Didn't think we'd be talking about it, but there's a shopping mall somewhere where they got one of those big keyboards on the floor, and somebody programmed it to organ, and they had these two, I think they're ballet dancers, but I might be wrong, that were playing it in the shopping mall on this giant keyboard. It's on Stupid O'Clock's page if y'all want to go look at it. It's hilarious.
I'll have to check that out. There is one on YouTube where there's a guy using a humongous church organ to play it. And this is one of those churches that have been around forever. I mean, I think Adam built it,
On Monday. Go ahead and bring John in.
No, don't bring John up. No, I'm on the other show. I was just gonna start broadcast. I was just getting ready to broadcast.
John, your mic is muted.
It's supposed to be muted. I didn't interrupt your show. I just came over here to get the feed ready. Okay. I'm talking to Joe on the armchair rocket site.
Like we didn't know.
For those people at home who don't know what the heck John's talking about, I figured I'd try and point it out to him. For those of you who don't know, SpaceX is going to launch another rocket tonight. It's a night launch, which means it's awesome. It lights up the whole Florida coast. It's beautiful. And Joe's over there doing that. If they do, see, Josh, want to know, are they still launching tonight? So far as we know, yes. But you know how it's Florida. They change their mind at drop of a hat, or an alligator, or a python, or voters.
A drop of rain.
The SLS rocket got hit by lightning today.
The lightning
tower took a strike.
The lightning rod next. They got these 600. They got 4 of them around each launch site. And they're these big 600-foot towers. And there's a great picture of one of them taking a lightning strike. They're still assessing the SLS to see if any damage was done, but they think it's okay. I'm going to go back over to Stupid O'Clock. Just drop me down. I'm going to mute everybody and just watch your show. Sort of.
All right.
I'm just keeping an eyeball on it.
All right.
Good night, space people.
Wherever you are.
Well, muted my mic. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, I'm back. We're just waiting for SpaceX to come up live.
Okay.
They're in their pre-game warm-up musical and stuff, so we're just waiting on that. Somebody's over here. If anybody's got any questions,
that seems to have worked.
Yes, they are, Joshua. Yes, they are.
No, it didn't.
No.
Estimated liftoff time is 11:41 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. deafening myself here. 11:41 Eastern time, which is in about 7 minutes. So that's the plan on the next launch.
There's Humble. I'm sorry. I'm punching buttons like a madman. I can't figure out how to shut him the hell up.
If you figure it out, Donna will pay you lots of money.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, I have noticed that if I have 2 StreamYard windows open at one time, bleed through does happen.
Sorry about that. I had to mute my mic. I posted the theme song for WGN Channel 9's Creature Feature from Chicago. Complete. I found the one, they do a little spooky narration through the Henry Mancini's Experiment in Terror, and this does include all the Universal Monster movie clips. And then I also found the introduction to Sammy Terry from WTTV Channel 4 out of Indianapolis. So, anybody wants to take a step back into time, you can get in the Stupid O'Clock Facebook group and see those that are just been posted.
Yeah, back before the advent of DVDs and Blu-ray, when VHS ruled the airwaves, I had home recordings of different Godzilla movies, and TNT used to have their little Halloween specials of they'd run lots and lots of Godzilla movies at a certain time every night, and they had a special theme and a special video to go with it. And I thought, what would be more cool than to have the TNT Monster Vision before the main feature of that Godzilla movie, then go through and play it all. And it took me a while to track that down, and now I have been trying to get all of the commercial releases of different Godzilla movies rather than depend on stuff I recorded on a videotape off of the TV back in the day, which was very, very low res. And if I didn't insist on having English dubs of everything so I could understand what people were saying without having to read subtitles, probably would have been a whole lot faster. But
Gojira.
Yep.
I do not want it to do that.
Nope, I don't know if you can just share it as a regular window with the 3 of us popped up equal size to it.
Huh.
I'm not sure.
I wanted to put it the same size as our faces, but apparently it won't let me do that. I
don't think it'll let you do that.
Nobody wants to look at our faces. Come on. Oh, geez, Edith.
Yeah, we were just talking about those big towers. You see the 4 of them. There's 2 in the background, 2 in the foreground. That's the lightning rods.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned in the messenger chat about seeing on TV the funnel cloud down at Cape Canaveral.
Water spout. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what Stephanie was saying. But then when I went back and I looked up the report on it again, they actually said it was a legitimate funnel cloud and not a water spout. So I don't, I know there was a lot of real ominous looking shelf clouds going through, and they did have issues with the weather, but either way, it was very interesting seeing that right there near Cape Canaveral.
It always bothers me to see all those pressurized cylinders on the ground. Like the one you see off to the right, and it's like, yes, I know they have a way of getting the fire going in a certain direction, but that just seems like they're asking for trouble.
Trouble is their business.
Oh, there's the ship. That's where they're going to land the sucker at night.
Oh, okay.
That ought to be cool, by the way. So,
Yeah. Hey,
it's kind of it's so neat to watch them do the Buck Rogers. I mean, that's when I was a kid. They threw all the rocket parts away, and I thought, that seems like an awful waste.
That's not how Heinlein intended it.
And now they're actually bringing back the better part of the rocket, cut the cost of space flight in half.
Really? Give it a good wash and wax and refuel it, and it's ready to go. Basically. I mean, I know it's more complicated than that, but...
It's not rocket science. Wait a minute. Never mind.
It's rocket taxi.
Just as long as they use Pennzoil 10W30, they'll be all right.
No, Mobile One synthetic. Thank you very much.
Well, how about Shell Rotella T?
Whoa!
Put your sunglasses on. That's a little bright.
Unlike us. Pretty.
Okay,
boys.
Can anybody? Okay, there's the rocket. Okay. I'm like, can anybody see the rocket? We still have a rocket.
That's one of the problems with night launches in Florida is there's so much moisture in the air.
Yeah.
You don't get to see the rocket. It's just a huge fireball going up in the sky.
Yeah. Just as long as it's not a huge fireball coming back down.
Actually, it will be. And then it'll land.
Well, you know what I mean. Yeah. Now it looks like a number 2 pencil.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Oh.
Now, interesting thing. See how straight that flame is coming out of the back of it?
Mm-hmm.
The higher up it goes in space, the less air pressure there is. So eventually, all that fire starts expanding outward into a big cone. And you can sit here, like right now, you see the neat little after effect there from I think it has 9 rocket engines, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And it's got the big cone of flame coming out the middle. It's kind of like the afterburner, for lack of a better term. There's a science term for it. Stephanie's not here tonight. So.
Not to be confused with the cone of silence.
Now, you can see here, instead of that big pencil coming out the back now, you can start to see the flame spreading out.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which means it's way up there now.
And it don't take long either.
Where's it going again?
They're putting one of the buses full of the Starlink satellites into orbit.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they're almost 6,000 feet in 2 minutes. So
no, that's how fast they're going. Damn.
Oh, excuse me, I can't
They're
see
at
the
58,
gauge.
59 miles.
61
okay. Miles, 62 miles, 63 miles, 64 miles.
Well, I hope they set the tripometer because they will never know what their mileage is.
Okay. That's the one on the right is the
Separation.
rocket for the satellite, or the bus that's pushing all the satellites. That's the bus.
And watch that sucker heat up.
And then there go the fairings. That's the satellite bus there, looking forward toward the nose. Now That's the rear of the satellite on the right.
Yeah.
The left is the rocket heading back down toward Earth. Those are the fairings that are deployed.
Right over the landing gear. Those are like air brakes almost.
Yes. And they also control direction to a certain extent. They look like really big fly swatters. So.
Yes, they do.
So Rich, how much can that... Go ahead, Dan.
Rich, I don't know why this is about 30 seconds behind Armchair Rocket Science, because it is from Armchair Rocket Science.
Actually, yeah, it's the same feed they're using.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this is not the Armchair Rocket Science feed. I didn't want Joe's voice, blasted through. So
okay. Yeah. So you're getting the NASA feed?
Yes.
And so that explains why it's 30 seconds behind Armchair Rocket Science, because they're getting...
He's using the same thing.
Yeah, but... We're getting it used.
Yes.
We have to pay rent on it.
It's a government operation. What do you expect?
So how much does that satellite have to heat up before they actually become concerned about it?
That's not the satellite. That's the rocket motor.
That's the engine there.
Okay, you said something about it being a satellite earlier, and I'm like,
that was when it was looking forward.
The satellite bus.
Yeah,
that's the rocket. The rocket motor for the satellite bus.
Now it's looking backwards, but the other camera was looking forwards
when the fairing.
Okay, I thought we were still looking at the same camera. I wasn't sure.
No, it wouldn't heat up that much from friction going up, coming down,
unless the satellite had a friggin' laser on it.
I told you not to let the sharks out. Oh, and there is actually a set of experiments trying to figure out how you can use a laser to heat up air and eventually fuel inside the bottom of a capsule or a rocket. Instead of having tanks of fuel, you just use a laser to burn the air that's inside there, pop it up. It's one of those things, I can't explain it well, and I don't have a good grasp of the physics, but it's a little bit similar to the original Orion, where you set up a nuke and hop up in the air and set up another nuke and hop further up in the air. But this is just burning stuff with a laser. So the engine stays at home.
There was I don't know if it's the same thing you're talking about, Dan, but they had this project a while back where they were going to burn nuclear fissionables with a high energy laser and create a fusion reaction just by burning up tritium and deuterium, tritium and deuterium pellets in this little reactor and create the Russian. The only problem is it gets dirty, which isn't good for lasers. So
it's not good for environmental impact either.
Well,
that's not the thing I was talking about, but it's somewhat similar.
Okay.
Ooh,
they're relighting.
Now they're fixing to stick the landing.
Well, that's reentry. That's the reentry burn. Oh, they keep losing it.
Yeah.
The reason they do that is to actually cool off the rocket's path as they're coming back, so it doesn't burn up on reentry.
Mm-hmm.
They shoot the rocket a little bit. It creates a little plasma shield.
Yes.
Behind it, so that it rides that plasma shield in. And we're back to the satellite bus.
The Colgate Invisible Shield.
I wonder why they're having so much trouble with the internet on this
one. Because the satellites needed to cover it are on the launch.
It would be ironic, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Well, maybe the next one will be better.
It's like having the key to the toolbox locked up inside the toolbox.
Inside the toolbox, yeah.
Now, these These satellites that they're putting up there, what are they going to be used for? Have they
That's
said?
the Starlink
Starlink, yeah.
internet network, the satellite internet.
Oh,
network.
okay.
Worldwide internet.
And there's only going to be one on this
No, I think
launch?
no.
there's 50,
There's thousands of them by now.
several thousand.
No, I mean this launch. This launch
Oh,
we're
no.
watching right now.
That's
think
why
it's-
John was calling it a bus. It's got lots.
It's got lots of them. They launch the bus, and the bus slowly kicks them off. I think there's 47 or 52. I can't remember which.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't launch a single one at a time. They launch batches.
And once they get their super heavy, oh, here we go.
Ooh, stick
Here's
that landing,
landing.
baby.
Yeah. A little off to one side.
Oh, yeah, by about 3 feet.
No, that's about 10.
Okay, I got the scale wrong.
Then I gotta find out how big that footprint is one day, because it's a lot bigger than you'd think it is. Just because it's tall and thin, it doesn't look quite as big as it really is.
Hey,
Well, to give you an
everything
example, look at the guardrail around the edge of the deck.
Okay, I didn't even notice that was a guardrail. I just thought
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
the edge of the light.
Nice.
Yeah, when you don't know the scale, it's really hard to judge the size.
You know, it's kind of like first time you walk up next to an aircraft carrier, and it's just it's huge, and then space right. If you ever get a chance and you've never been, go to one of the space and rocket centers, Huntsville, Florida.
I've been to the Huntsville
Houston.
Rocket Museum. Yes,
Same
They
here.
have one out. I think they have one
Saturn
in
V's
California.
laying on the ground in bits and pieces.
I think Edwards has one too, but
I'm a little far from California.
of course Washington D.C. Yes.
Thankfully, I'm even further from Washington than I am from Huntsville. Believe
right,
me,
Joe
if
should
I
be
was
back.
close, I'd be really annoying.
Of course, we talked about it on Thursday's show, but for those of you who don't know, T-Mobile has just done an agreement with Elon Musk's Starlink satellite network, and now you can do text on your phone anywhere in the world through that satellite network as part of it, as if you're T-Mobile user.
If you're T-Mobile.
And once he gets the whole constellation up there, that'll be everywhere. Even countries that don't like it.
Go Elon Musk. Bro.
Hi.
You could have told me that the audio was muted.
What?
The audio was muted for the whole launch. The SpaceX feed was muted.
On yours?
Yes.
I didn't
We
know.
heard you.
Yeah, we could hear you. We were trying to mute you.
Maybe that's what happened.
No, that's why I got rid of the StreamYard link and went with the same link you were using, the one you gave me. And I muted mine on purpose. So.
Maybe Joe Dog started talking about the Illudium Q-36 explosive space modulator, and NASA didn't like that, and they muted them.
Hey, Joe, how many satellites were on that bus?
54.
54. Okay.
Missed it by that much.
Yeah, they used to launch 60, but the new version 1.2 is just a little bigger.
How many total will they have, or will launch, or when everything's all said and done?
There's supposed to be 30,000 in orbit.
Well, no, wait a minute. There were supposed to be 30,000 of the original version.
Yeah.
I don't think they need that many with the new version. So that's kind of it's going to be close to 20,000 or better. So, and I'm not sure how many he has up right now. Thousands.
So we have to share?
Until they find out they don't like the new Starlink and go back to the old one like the new Coke.
Well, also with the new Starlink, SpaceX teamed up with T-Mobile, and now they're going to be offering worldwide text messaging.
Angry Birds. Yes.
Yeah, worldwide text messaging with zero dead zones.
You can play Pokemon Go with anyone in the world.
Yeah. And Rich Asplin says, "Why is the SpaceX feed 30 seconds behind
The
my
feed I was using, it was the same feed you were using, but for some reason we had it 30 seconds behind you.
I can't tell you why.
I can. Fewer people on your show. We had
and a full gig download also.
I've got a half a gig. I should easily be able to. I mean, it's only a page of video compared to every damn thing else I'm doing. That's easy.
Okay, I'm going to go back and check out the thing.
The thing.
Oh, y'all were talking about the Dark Shadow and yeah, Rob. I remember the Connuga panel with the new Shock Theater crowd, and yeah, it was packed. The creator of Dingbat has passed on, but his brother's still alive, or nephew. I think it's his nephew, and he still has an original Dingbat. It's the only one in existence of all the characters because the house burned down, and for some reason the kid had Dingbat out playing with it in the yard and left it in the yard when they left. Is the only reason that one survived.
Wednesday.
Edith, you dingbat.
Rick said he's watching both, thought it was a different feed, and then realized it was delayed.
Yeah. Oh, have you gotten any word from Zach? I haven't been paying attention to it lately.
I just know he's been down there and busy doing all that. Of course, you know, he's missing NASCAR race night right now. Of course, the people on the backstretch at Daytona got to see the launch.
You know, they could do double duty if they would let SpaceX launch rockets out of the Daytona Speedway, right out the not just.
No, you gotta have you gotta have too much clearance around there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you right now, guys. I made a mistake earlier today.
What did you eat?
What? You? Oh, come now.
Medium salsa with chips. I ate a whole jar.
Okay. So you needed mild salsa? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I should have got mild salsa. I got a whole new meaning to the Ring of Fire.
And it burns, burns.
You're going to be investing in that aloe-infused toilet paper in the future.
Yeah, I should go ahead and do it.
Just go out and get you some baby wipes.
Oh. 1 minute we're talking rocket science, the next we're talking Taco Bell.
No, it wasn't.
That's what they tell
Bell.
people.
It was Tostitos.
Tostito.
It was grocery store.
Was it any of the flavored Tostitos or just regular Tostitos?
Regular Tostitos medium.
I mean, no, I meant the chips.
Oh, no, it's the Tostito scoops.
Oh, they weren't flavored.
No, I like the scoops because you can get enough salsa on there to.
I get the.
I think it's just the.
Scorch your a brown ring around the toilet as you sit on it. Yeah.
I get the Sanitas. I think that's what they're called. Used to be $2 a bag. Now it's like $2.50 a bag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're made by the same folks that make Munchos.
And they're
That would be Frito-Lay.
And I think
because Frito-Lay makes frickin' everything. They have the monopoly on all that salty snack stuff.
Well, they're owned by Pepsi.
Yeah.
Pepsi isn't. Pepsi's owned by another company.
It
That's
is.
Is it InBev?
I don't know.
Well, Pepsi's in the name, but I can't think of the actual name because we have a plant and I'm wondering, let's see. I'm confusing our plants because we have a Quaker Oats plant too.
Yeah, that's Pepsi owns Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and Long John Silver's.
Well, I think they'd owned 5 at one time.
Yeah.
Not anymore, but
yeah, but that's why when you go to those places, they don't have Coke; they have Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get any chips or anything at them, they're the Frito-Lay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the actual company name is PepsiCo.
PepsiCo bought. They own Frito-Lay. They bought Quaker Oats. They own Pepsi.
Yep.
They do all the. They have Tropicana and Gatorade, and
Shell Oil.
I thought Gatorade was Del Monte.
Might have been at one time.
Yeah, at one time it might have been, but
yeah, it was Pizza Hut and Burger King. That's right.
There you go.
Oh, here we are. Tricon Global Restaurants, which later became known as Yum Brands Incorporated. And they had Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, KFC, Hot and Now, Eastside Mario's, D'Angelo's Sandwich Shops, Chevy's Fresh Mex, California Pizza Kitchen, Stolichnaya. You mean the vodka's not even Russian? Jesus Christ.
So few of them are. I mean, you can grow potatoes anywhere.
Stolichnaya via a license agreement. So basically, this anti-Russian thing's really going to hit. Pepsi.
Oh, Rick said his office is a block from one of the corporate offices.
Wilson Sporting Goods and North American Van Lines.
Oh.
Well, I'll tell you a story about Gatorade. For some reason, they had like 2 or 3 NASCAR cars at Riverbend one year.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them packed up and left. I mean, unloaded, had his tent set up and everything. Friends of the Festival came up and said, this is a Coke-sponsored event. You need to cover up the Gatorade. And he went, I don't think so. He says, if you're going to leave the car here, you are. He said, hold on a minute. He called back to the race shop and says, hey, they're making us cover up the Gatorade sign on all these cars out here. You know what the shop told them? Load them up. We're paid to... Gatorade's paying us to put that sticker on the car. You're not hiding it. Oh.
And which NASCAR event was that, Joe?
It was a festival here in town.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't a NASCAR event. They just, had their show cars out. They said, you got to cover up the Gatorade. One stayed and covered their Gatorade up, and the other two packed up and left.
What do you want to bet the one that covered up the Gatorade got yelled at?
The Gatorade logo is what they call a contingency. They pay you so much to race. Gatorade pulled the contingency from that team for 10 races.
That's what I call being yelled at.
Sorry about that.
Bless you.
Cough too
Burning
hard.
at both ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better
Joe's
that
a candle now. Oh, Lord. All right. What diversion can we divert to at the moment?
Well, we were talking about classic, spooky movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then we went to Miss Marcia, Bozo the Clown, Bob Brandy.
And I was about to talk about colonoscopies, but anyway. Actually,
we'll get to it in the end.
Yeah, and speaking of that,
Speaking of spooky movies, I've got a Roger Corman marathon.
Wow!
Oh, you do?
Queued up in here. Yeah, Little Shop of Horrors, A Bucket of Blood, and The Wasp Woman. Those will run Sunday morning. Some of the great ones, Dolly Dearest, The Transparent Man, Jack the Ripper, and Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Santa Claus versus the Martians, The Day of the Triffids. What?
Piazadora.
Yeah.
She was an adorable little girl.
The Beast from the Haunted Cave, and It Came from Hollywood.
Wasn't It Came from Hollywood a documentary?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
It's all about Corman, Harryhausen, all those classic cheesy movies.
It's too bad it's horror themed. I mean, there's the Roger Corman version of Fantastic Four, which very few people have been able to see because it never was commercially released. It was not even supposed to be privately released.
But it was.
Yeah, Rob, you're going to have to come because you're going to love the movies this year. And when I had these few seconds, do y'all remember in the virtual HallowCon, the little breaks between the movies? Movie will start in so long, this amount of time, just to fill the gap. I cut those down into individual second plays. So in between movies, those will still run. I'm going to get all my money out of them.
That's why we like the people in the balcony. They're
Yep.
our people.
Yep.
That's where our money comes from. Y'all in the front row, y'all paid for the theater.
Yeah. Everybody in the cheap seats can clap their hands, and the rest of you just rattle your jewelry.
Yeah.
As John Lennon famously once said.
I'll look into that. I was going to try to...
Wait a minute. Is that a horror movie or is that the Monkees movie?
No, that was the Beatles doing the performance before the Queen.
Head?
I don't know. With that name, that would probably have to run in the overnight.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but
The Monkeys movie was named Head, wasn't
yes, yes.
it? Yeah. Well,
What about it?
well, The
And
Head
then,
may be a totally different movie.
their TV special was 33 and a third revolutions per monkey.
Stay on target.
And that was the one with all the Brian Auger and Trinity with Julie Driscoll and Buddy Miles, Fats Domino, Jerry Reed, Little Richard. I mean, just tons of musical guests, chocked full, as they would say.
Mm.
But, gentlemen, I need to back out of here. Had a very long day, and I have something coming up early in the morning, and that as well, that's going to make for a part 2 of the very long weekend. And that, but so while we're mid-drift between that, I shall say via con Dios to everybody out there, and we'll see you on Thursday night. Yes.
What?
Yes.
are
Hopefully
you gonna be
things
there
will be
for the,
back.
Are you going to be there for the rocket launch Monday?
What time is that? The Monday launch.
Joe?
We go live at 8:30. We're going to chit chat. Me and Stephanie are going to chit chat for a little while, and
8:30
then
a.m. or 8:30 p.m.
a.m.
Oh,
8:30 a.m. Eastern time.
which that would be 7:30 a.m. here.
I'll already be at work no matter what time zone it's in.
I will be up. It'll be iffy. I'll at least be a viewer, if not anything else.
Yeah, we had like 20 people tuned in to the
Yeah.
launch tonight.
That's doing good.
Good. Well, guys, I shall see you later.
All right. Get you some sleep, Bill.
Yeah.
Take care,
Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah. Happy trails. Bye-bye.
All right. And
Realize
Rob,
when he goes to bed, he has to turn around and flip all them damn little gizmo lights on all his collectible figures off. It must take him half an hour to get ready for bed.
Depends. He might have one of those remote control outlet switches that. No, Lindsay's got the outside lights on these remote switches. She's got a bunch of little remotes. She can turn on and turn off the porch lights without having to do anything but go to the keychain rack and go click, 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 and that'll get lights in the living room, lights in the dining room, and lights on the porch. God help me if anything ever happens to her. I'll just have to plug the damn things in straight and just leave them on all the time because I don't know what those remotes do. I didn't arrange it.
let me ask Rob something real quick. Rob Brown here. Rob, do you are you able to do any video conferencing? Because not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, I'd love to have you in as a guest on the What is HallowCon show.
Wait for
Yeah.
replies.
And Rick says he's got a bunch of power strips that are attached through Alexa.
Yeah.
No, shut up! Damn bitch.
Now you see why I won't get one. I went online to Medicare.gov and started filling out forms. All of a sudden, I get ads for stuff.
Okay, Rob.
I don't have. Well, I do have an idea why. didn't even talk about it, so my phone didn't hear it. But Google is such a blabbermouth.
I can't wait to start getting the hemorrhoid ads from talking
You
about.
will now.
Yeah. Hey, it's okay. It's okay, Rob. Oh.
Well, I can hear myself think.
So did you see the cute little anti-drone missile system, the Vampire,
No.
that they're sending them to Ukraine? It's kind of neat because you can put the whole thing in the back of a small pickup truck, and one person can operate it. And it's basically designed to go up and shoot down incoming drones. And it's supposed to be smart but cheap, which is good if you're going after drones. But it looks like a little mini Stinger missile box. It's got like 4 rockets in it. And, kind of
shoots off an SDs.
It ain't. You remember that really big one that had a camera in the nose?
Uh-huh.
They're about that big.
Yeah.
It's probably 4 or 5 years ago. I think I'm gonna build a rocket. Now, went out to Hobby Lobby and picked out a rocket. And all right, thank you, Sarah. Good night.
Good night, Sarah.
Went to pick out a rocket, and I thought, no, I've played with these little, A, B, and C engines. I want a D engine.
D12.
Yeah, D12. You know how much a damn pack of D12, 3 D12s worth 5 years ago?
I think you could get a pack of them for $12 or $14 then. I think they're like $30 a shot now.
Yeah.
Thanks, NASA. Using up all the damn solid rocket fuel. Jackass.
No. No. Thanks, Sama.
Actually, it's probably the Air Force.
But
all these new little missiles and rockets we got coming out all over the place.
They enter your ID when you buy those rocket engines now.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Of course, what I would do with the D12O is buy, the balsa sticks, cut it, duct tape, couple wraps of duct tape, the engine to the stick, then a pack of ladyfinger firecrackers on top of it.
I wonder how hard it would be to make a solid rocket booster or solid rocket engine.
YouTube.
Yeah, I know it can't.
Yeah,
be that hard.
I saw one. I did not watch the video, but I saw the existence of a video that was talking about how to build a solid fuel rocket, which
that's the Palestinians.
Table salt was the main component of the fuel.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they recommend the confectionate sugar.
Yeah, that's a fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Confectionate sugar and
table salt's a little odd. I would have thought they'd wanted sodium nitrate, saltpeter.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rest of the reactant was. It might have been part of it, but and I can understand the confectioner sugar because there's a lot of carbon in that.
Well, it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of stored energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Rich is saying they were taking the IDs on the rockets back in the 90s. Well, at the time, it'd probably been 30 years since I played with them.
Now, I remember being able to get them at Walmart. Because Walmart had its rocket section.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, well, I don't want to show my age, but I'm going to. Otasco, Murphy's, Woolworths.
Yeah.
They all.
All of those non-existent stores now. Yeah. We had some folks in my high school that were building model rockets and launching them off the softball field, and I got excited about it, but then after about the 14th one went up about 4 feet and corkscrewed into the ground, I'm going.
It's hard to get it's hard to get them tail fins to stay on.
It's hard to build up enthusiasm about something that I could do with a tractor, scorched earth and whatnot, but the ones that actually did go up and then parachute down, and they had to run and find them before they went and played in traffic. Yeah.
Now, we built a glider airplane that launched, off the rod. It went up, it did a barrel roll, it turned around and came back for us, and we all hit the dirt, and it shot over the top of us and went up, and then came back around and went at us again. And I said, okay, we're not going to do that one no more.
I just want to get.
Hey, Kerry.
Hey, Kerry, welcome.
They had that one of the space shuttle that the two boosters actually had rocket engines in them. It would launch. They would detach, and when they detached, they would pop parachutes on each of the boosters. The fuel tank would pop a booster. It would launch the space shuttle, and the space shuttle would keep going. And then eventually it went up and it did the glider thing like Joe was talking, where, you'd never find that. I don't know anybody that still has their space shuttle. They got all the other stuff for it, but the space shuttle would just head home for Florida.
Yeah, really.
We're doing good, Kerry.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, I've got great stories about the Estes rockets and the Cox airplanes.
I had a Sprite Special. It was a little car, about 14 inches long.
Oh yeah,
it's a little Formula, not Formula One, but the other one they do.
Looked like a little sprint car.
Something like that. And you ran the line from point A to point B for like 300 yards and had an 049 engine in it. You light that sucker up, let it go. It was scream down the street.
We would build our own airplanes. And I built one, it had like a 4-foot wingspan. It's just a solid chunk of balsa that I carved. And, built the fuselage and built, the rudder, the elevator. And severely underpowered it with an 049. You had, as it started moving, you had to start pulling it to get it to lift up. And we got it up, and as it's going around, all of a sudden, it's supposed to fly in the circle.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This one started flying straight. The entire everything ripped out of it with the little control rod, and the control rod snapped off the rudder, and the rudder was in an up position. So it flew like this for about a couple hundred feet as it tail dragged into the ground.
No, my brother-in-law had one that he had built. I think it was from a kit, but it was about a 2-foot, 3-foot wingspan, and went up to the farm, got out in the middle of a 12, 14 acre field, and let it take off and fly around. And it was radio controlled. It wasn't the cable control.
Yeah.
So had a great time. Had a great time watching him do all this, and he brought it in for a landing, and it landed almost perfectly. But there was one clump of grass that got in the way, and right at the very end, as he's trying to shut the engine off, flipped it on its nose, flipped it up on its back, and he had to rebuild it again before he could fly it. But that evidently that is part of the hobby. You flies real good, lands okay if you've made sufficient preparations, and if you haven't, gotta. It's like a Fiat. Fix it in, Tony. Oh.
That wasn't me.
Sounded like a steam engine. Oh, I was watching one YouTube video where somebody had built an actual jet-powered, radio-controlled SR-71.
Oh, those are fun to watch fly.
Oh, man. And evidently that thing had most of it was a fuel tank, because it just kept right on going. After it circled the field a few times and came in and did some low passes and everything, got it lined up on the runway, landed it perfectly. It shut itself off. He went over to it and burned his hands on the engine. But, the plane was not hurt at all, and it was beautiful. I mean, it was like almost 4 feet long.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of amazing. Ever since all that drone technology came out, the controls for the radio control aircraft and boats and everything like that, they got longer range. Some of them run by cell phone. So if there's a cell phone tower nearby, you got whatever range your cell phone does. They got live video. You can actually put cameras and stuff on them and do multiple controls. Just incredible things they do.
Rich said they school authorized experiment involving the Nova payloader that was never retrieved. Said we lost 2 spotters that were involuntary astronauts that day.
So
and he's saying, evening, Kiri.
So that's what's wrong on Mars.
Happy birthday.
Now, I may know somebody that used that, the payload Estes rocket to launch a gerbil.
You may?
Yep.
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah, well, the gerbil lost a lot of weight on the way up. And never was right ever since.
Gerbil not?
Yeah.
Astro gerbil?
Yeah. Needless to say, well, it was a little female. Yeah, she would not go through the little gerbil tubes after that. What is Dan's study?
Traumatic brain injury.
Just looking up birthdays. That is all. Just looking up birthdays, not looking up the phone number for the ASPCA or anything else.
Yeah. Rich wanted to go with a field mouse, but they vetoed it. Luckily, mine. That person wasn't in a school event.
Well, On a lighter note, a visitor to the Grand Canyon's North Rim slipped, fell, and died. How long has the Grand Canyon been there? You know, it's like when people talk about canyons, that's the canyon they talk about. And people are still falling into the damn thing. It's on every map. There's signs everywhere that say, don't go near the edge. And we still have people what? Derpy, derpy, derp.
I'm going to take a selfie. Watch me as I back off the cliff.
I have no compassion for people that do stuff like that. It's like that guy. They were having a motorcycle rally. It was bikers against helmets. He's going around a curve, loses his motorcycle, spins around, smacks his head up against one of those steel I-beams they put the guardrails up with, smacked his head up against one of those, killed him dead. And I'm like, that's the way he wanted it. He didn't want to wear a helmet.
Yeah, there was a Hollywood film star that was very against helmets at one time, and then got a severe concussion for riding without a helmet and having an accident. I think he's changed his tune.
Okay. I love this. The article says the man on the Grand Canyon accidentally slipped off the edge.
Well, you think he did it on purpose?
Exactly. You know,
that's not. Well,
there is actually a term. You know, when you look over an edge, that pull that you feel that just wants to pull you over.
That vertigo?
Yeah, the perversion.
Yeah. This is it.
Yeah.
It's an actual true phenomenon that people, you know, they're just, this is cool. Just jump.
And to translate from the French, it's the appeal of the void.
Yeah.
And now my French is not really good, but you know,
yeah.
I can order green beans at a restaurant.
Yeah. Appeal of the void. Yeah. Which, you know, everybody that's watching, you learned something tonight on Stupid O'Clock.
Whether you wanted to or
not. Don't let Joe buy rocket motors.
Gerbils do not make good astronauts.
No.
She absolutely did a beautiful job. You know, shit herself and pissed all over everything when she went up, but
you're not helping the anonymity a bit, Joe.
Let's just say I was.
You're going to get put in Facebook jail again. Okay, I'm calling it now. It's.
Well, hey, now I did get a warning talking about the time
Joe
my
needs
dog
mild
was
salsa. That's another thing we learned tonight.
My dog had crawled under the cover with me, and he was sound asleep, nose curled up, and I just ripped one loose. Poor thing started. And so I whipped the cover off, and he looks up at me like, "Dad, what the hell?"
I thought you were going to say the dog took the covers and ran to the couch.
No, it was a little Chihuahua.
My statement stands.
Of course, he was a cool dog. I miss him. He died of a heart attack. His mama was Teacup Chihuahua and Yorkie, and Daddy was a miniature dachshund.
That's not right.
He had a mohawk. Had a mohawk.
He had an attitude, I bet.
Hell yeah, he had an attitude. He thought he was 10 foot tall and bulletproof. He made that husky and Akita behave.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
You know that kid that's been tracking Elon Musk private airplane?
Yeah.
You heard about this? And they asked him to stop. He says, "I'll stop for $50,000." Well, apparently they're still negotiating with the kid's name is Jack Sweeney, and he's basically, his new deal is if Elon Musk will let him fly with him on his jet, record it, and talk about it, and maybe not even pay me the $50,000, I would take it down.
Maybe.
It's still up for discussion. I think he added that. I think he added that maybe not even pay me the $50,000 just for the lawyers.
Yeah. Yeah. Rich says taco wiener dog. No, it was a Yorkie in there. So that would be a pompous taco wiener dog.
A fish and chips taco wiener dog. What if you make a taco out of fish and chips?
They make fish tacos.
And chips or potatoes would be potato taco. So it's, and they're both fried.
I had fish and chips just tonight.
Damn it, now I'm going to have to go cook fish sticks. Damn, thank you.
I actually made, I did
Yeah,
homemade.
but I bet you don't put malt vinegar on them the way you're supposed to.
I drowned it.
Tartar sauce.
No, I drowned it in malt vinegar.
Tourist sauce?
Oh, okay.
But no, I use malt vinegar. I use British malt vinegar too.
The London Pub.
I
malt
made
vinegar.
I made London Pub. That's the same one. I made beef burgundy tonight, homemade, over egg noodles. Which is pretty good.
Aren't we healthy?
Sorta. It had. I think it wound up having 2 cups of burgundy wine in it. Wound up.
Started off.
Oh, and Dan.
Who needs water? I'm just going to boil these noodles in the burgundy.
Why are the noodles pink? Why are the noodles pink?
Poor Rich learned last night, don't be drinking anything while I'm talking.
That happens entirely too often. I swear. No, I can't say that.
I don't even remember what I said, but it just about killed Rich.
Well, if you'd waited till he went ahead and finished his drink, I mean, seriously.
Hey, when a joke's got to be told, it's got to be told.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I came out with a few triple entendres last night. I started to say I'm not proud, but yes, I am. Those were witty. Yes.
Rich says, if it wasn't Dan or Michaela, it was you.
I do have warning labels, you know.
I had one, and I was right there. I was fixing to drop it, and it's gone.
Oh, I know the feeling.
And it was a horrible pun too.
It'll come
Oh,
back.
now I remember what it was.
I was afraid of that.
Yeah, my neighbor's dog got in and ate the Scrabble pieces. I had to rush them to the vet. There's no word yet.
Oh my goodness.
Dan, you're fighting the laughter. I see it.
No, no. What I'm fighting is kicking the furniture because my back hurts enough. I don't want a stub toe on top of that. Bam, bam, bam. Yes, I know I got a show in 20 minutes. Shut up, Facebook. Phew.
It's a show about nothing.
Yep. You know, I asked my dad a question recently. I asked him, Dad, why do you always wrap my birthday gifts in this weird fabric? And he replied, I just wanted to make my presence felt.
All right, Kira, you're in.
Good night, Donna. And Rich, yeah, it was a crappy joke. I know.
Oh, heavens. We are so easily amused. Thank goodness.
You know,
Cheap dates.
when we were kids, we told jokes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You get older, jokes become a little bit more sophisticated usually. And then eventually you get to the point where you've heard them all. And you just don't really tell jokes the way you used to.
Yep.
And I wonder why that is.
Hey, Derek, welcome.
Hey, pizza man.
I was deathly afraid, John, that you were going to end that with something like 27. And Joe Dog was going to say, you don't know how to tell a joke. I don't even know
That's a
who I
prison
stole that
joke.
from. No, it's not. It's
And Rob absolutely nailed it. Yeah, it don't take much to entertain us.
thank goodness.
Of course, Rich says then the Alzheimer kicks in. You get to learn them all over again.
Or you don't remember you told the same one 5 minutes ago.
So do I have to tell a really bad joke now?
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Pizza just says a dad joke walks into a bar and sees a yo mama joke, then knock on is in the oven.
What part of Popeye never rust? The party dips in olive oil.
I knew that had to be involved somehow.
Curie, that joke is so old that it may actually be making a comeback thanks to you now.
The only reason they didn't tell that joke on the Mayflower is because cartoons had not been invented at that time. But it's damn near that old.
No, Dan, do you know the real reason the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock?
They were out of beer.
Yep.
Yeah.
They ran out of beer.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's a village over there. Let's see if they got beer.
Well, you can make beer out of pretty much any grass seed. You know, it doesn't have to be, wheat and barley and nothing. But when they saw all the shoreline with all the grasses on it, they wanted to check it out and see if they could, see oats or anything like that and make beer out of it. So do I have to tell the ancient engineer beer joke?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. We're here.
There's a book by a fellow named L. Sprague de Camp. He's a famous historian and writer. And he wrote a book called The Ancient Engineers. Dan has a copy. That Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Dan has a copy. I have a copy. And in this book, he uses a surmise that the reason that human beings went from being hunters and gatherers, where they just went around finding food all the time, and that was the only thing they did, that was their existence, was finding food, went to being an agricultural people, raising animals, planting crops, harvesting crops, was because they discovered beer. They figured out how to make beer. The problem was, when you made the beer, you had to wait for it to ferment. Well, it's hard to carry all that around with you, and it won't ferment right if you're carrying it around with you all the time. So they had to put it someplace cool, sort of let it ferment. So they had to wait for the beer to ferment before they could drink the beer. So while they were doing that, they started growing more stuff to make more beer and bringing in animals to eat, and then started doing animal husbandry. And next thing you know, they're all farmers. And that was the agricultural revolution that turned us
Exactly. Yeah.
from hunters and gatherers to farmers.
And
all because of beer.
All because of beer.
It was a very brave man that had his barley soup set out overnight, and he goes, "Oh, I'm hungry. I'm going to drink this." Whoa, that's got a kick to it.
Nope. Dan, I'll tell you exactly how it happened. The mom made barley soup. She put it on the table for all the kids. The kids go, "I'm not eating barley soup again." It's fine. It'll be there. It'll be there when you get back. Well, a week later, hey, Mom, can we get some more barley soup? What?
Mom, this batch of barley soup isn't as good as the last one. Let it sit for a while.
On that note, I got to go get some more vitamin B.
Alrighty.
Oh, Lord.
I did not go to the store today and buy more beer.
I did, but I went to the hardware store first. Bought another toolbox, an empty one this time, and some more bungee cords, because they came in handy, and I've got several that are past their elasticity date.
Have you ever pulled one and dust comes out that used to be rubber band?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Or the cloth covering of the rubber band, yeah. There was one I reclaimed the ends of just today. It had no stretch left. It was basically just a strap.
Do you have any dog bones? The big rubber ones with the holes in each end, the big S hook. They're solid rubber. There's no fabric or anything like that.
Yeah, I've still got one of those that hasn't rotted away.
They do dry rot.
They do. I was using one of those to hold the spare tire in place inside the van, because the van was made to have a donut spare underneath. I can't put a full-size spare tire in the donut well underneath the car, so it has to go in the back. So, I had been working on the van. I replaced the alternator, replaced the battery, got other stuff I need to do, a little bit of electrical stuff, made sure, turn signal socket for the turn signal bulb. Got all of that working. Everything's fine. But I had the contents of what amounted to 3 large toolboxes laid out in the back of the van. So today I cleaned it all up and packed it away in the new toolboxes, and everything is fine until the next job that I need to do. It's nice and neat and clean, and I wish I'd took pictures of it, because it ain't gonna last long. It's my van. ain't gonna be clean for very long, maybe a week, before I get it full of stuff again. But, at least the car
I'm
starts
posting.
and charges the battery and the turn signal works. That's the important thing.
Brakes are kind of important too.
Got to get those done. Yes. Um,
Hey,
I have.
only if you really want to stop.
There's only so much gliding you can do.
Actually, my opinion on it, Dan, is I would rather have a car with absolutely perfect brakes and a blown up engine than a good running car with no brakes.
Well, yeah. Having had both, I can agree. Yes. No. We've got a. My mom's been going to a shop about 3 miles away, and I have been going to one about 7 or 8 miles away, but it's one of those chain places.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go to the shop that my mom goes to and just tell them, look, it's a 2007. The back brakes have never been replaced. The front brakes have been replaced twice.
Have you ever had a car that has disc brakes in the front and drum brakes in the back?
Yep,
That's what I got now.
yep. You're talking mid 70s, early 80s sort of thing. Yeah. Well, this one's got disc brakes all the way around, but the back ones don't get used that much. The front ones do all the work, so they
My
get
two
replaced more often.
my 2007 HHR has drum brakes on the rear.
I wonder why they do that.
For some reason, they say it's cheaper.
Mm. Maybe
Uh,
cheaper for them.
No, disc brakes should be cheaper.
I don't know.
Yeah.
A, it's less metal. B, it's smaller. B, it's less weight. The brake pads are smaller. And you wouldn't have to have two different brake lines, or brake assembly lines.
Yeah, and you can. It's less work to replace actually. If you replace the brake pads often enough to where you don't have to replace the rotors too. Mm.
No,
Oh.
I've got two rotors in my building out there. When I did the front brake job on the HHR,
Mm-hmm.
the rotors were still good, but I throw new rotors on every time I did a brake job. I said,
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be short of money one day. So I
Yeah.
saved the old rotors and took them to the,
Yeah, get them laved. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Take them
had them
someplace different
turned
turned. Yeah.
and then coated them in WD-40, wrapped them in a plastic bag and put them up.
I wouldn't use
What's that?
WD-40.
What's that stuff that they use for um, firearms that are being
Cosmoline.
stored? Cosmoline. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, that's what you need.
No, just
You,
plain old grease. Vaseline would do fine. Just anything fairly solid. Heck, Crisco shortening would do fine if you just preserving it.
you, do, if you use
Of course,
Crisco
if you're
shortening, you better have
if
it
you
in
smell French
climate
fries
control.
every time you go to stop, you didn't clean them off good enough.
You're gonna have to store them in a climate control building, otherwise Crisco gonna melt in a hurry.
Most grease will.
Yeah. Oh Lord, we used to get 5-gallon tubs
Of
of.
course, cheap spray paint will work good too.
Really? How?
Yeah. Take them, have them ground, get whatever done to them, turned, laved, bring them home, and just spray paint the heck out of both sides of it.
Oh yeah, seal it away from the air. I see now. Yeah.
Most spray paint's a plastic
Hmm.
something anyway, some sort of plastic. So
I should buy stock in Krylon. Every time somebody paints a bridge, I get paid.
Oh,
John,
well,
it's time to do your job.
okay. Well, no. See, I have to ask now because you keep telling me not to play this stuff and then play this stuff and then it just gets like.
Oh,
Feel like I'm watching Ronan Martin's Laugh In, or at least reruns.
Very interesting, but not very funny.
And yeah,
I think I'm gonna wrap this. John, you wrap up the show.
Why?
I gotta go pee.
Well, go do that then. I will wrap up the show.
Mm-hmm. I will unwrap the next one.
And Dan can unwrap the next one, and I might come in and just harass him.
And I'll unwrap my felt birthday presents.
I thought you was going somewhere else, and I'm saying I don't need to know that information.
I'm sorry, sweetie. Honey Badger doesn't give a shit.
Oh, I wish I could have met her.
That would have been nice.
There were classic comedians that I would have loved to have met. Her, Joan Rivers, Phyllis Diller. Yeah. I almost met Bob Hope once.
Oh, that would have been fun.
Well, I was at the show. The line was too big, and they kept saying it was one of these. Go shake his hand, and then about the time everybody lined up, go shake his hand. Go get on the bus. Military thing. And then let's see what was Don Rickles.
Oh, that would have been.
I always wanted to get insulted. I always wanted to get insulted by Don Rickles.
Like, that's hard to do.
Exactly, but Mel Brooks is still out there, so I would like to sit down with him and talk engineer stuff. So.
Is Anne Bancroft still alive? Mel Brooks' wife.
I'm not certain.
I certainly hope so. She's a grand lady.
See how much time we have. Well, we ain't got much. I was going to go Google it. I'll find out. Google it later. Because it's time for us to say goodbye to all our company. MICKEY. Joe Dog had to pee.
That was evil. I mean, that was evil.
Whatever.
I like it.
Does we have a new outro?
I haven't the faintest idea.
Okay. Found it. Okay. So I know. Good night, everybody.
Good night,
everybody.
You've been.
Slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter's silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, where never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.